Hi, this is Gary Gold and welcome to Voodoo Agent. Now, if there's one quality which I would love to improve, which would have a huge impact on my business, and I'm good at it, would like to be better at, it would be convincing sellers how to prepare their home to be show ready. I would say about 75% of the time, people listen to about 95% of what I want to say. But 25% of the time, they've got their own ideas and they don't do what's best for them to get the most amount of money. Today, residential real estate agents have at their disposal all the same tools that developers who have scientifically proven how to sell homes have done over the year. We stage houses, we prep houses, we do a lot of fix-up where people didn't do it in the past. Often I'll even have somebody move out of their house to sell it. So what I'd like to talk about is how to sell like a pro and not a schmo. First thing, the most important thing to sell a house is the outside of the house, the exterior. If you can get the driveway, the landscape, the aesthetic of the outside done, often you can have a house that's a mess inside. You know, people buy houses because they fall in love with it. And they literally can follow up when they drive up to the house initially. And just like people, sad but true, if the outside's really appealing, they can be very forgiving on what's on the inside. And it's the truth. If you're gonna have a limited amount of money, the outside of the house is the most important. Number two, you've gotta clear your home of all your personal effects. As I said, in a perfect world, if it makes sense in your particular situation, if you can move out and go to your next home, you're better off. But if you can't, there's a few things that are really not good for selling a home. That picture from the 70s where your whole family is like holding onto the oak tree and it's kind of like color faded, you know, that your family photo, not a good look. Now you're thinking, oh, you know, this shows this has been a loving house and it's been a good house. But that's not what people are thinking. It just reads old and tired. So you want to get rid of all those personal effects. You want to get rid of all that stuff. You open up a garage and it's filled with stuff. People can't even think or imagine themselves in that home. What you want to do is you want to open up a garage and see a lot of place for their stuff, not your stuff. You know, looking at someone's closet just completely filled with clothes and in no particular way, shape, or form, really unappealing. Now, if you're like two people, super stylish, and you've got like every suit like one after another and it's perfect, and you've got all these beautiful shoes lined up and it looks perfect, I mean, it almost looks like a model home, that's great. But short of that, it can be a little bit problematic. There's also some small things that can make a world of difference. If you look at all your recessed cans, if they've turned yellow, and they will after 8, 9 years, replace those with white ones. That sublimity really freaks people out. Also, old thermostats, old security systems where it's that white plastic is yellowed and it's an old looking thing. You can replace your thermostat with a $250 Nest thermostat. Your house looks like a smart home. You can replace your old ADT security system with just a new panel that looks modern and cool. Makes the world of difference. Another thing, and that we don't see it that often, but if you ever see a tube television in someone's house, my God, that is like a death blow. It just looks so dated, and then they look at everything as dated. Also, hey, listen, you might be this very artistic person, have all kinds of colors going on everywhere in your house, and unless you are a top designer and the thing just looks amazing, when in doubt, white it out. Beth Ann Shepard, my stager, always says that. When in doubt, white it out. You want white, you want clean. You want people to walk into your house and be able to think, and then think about themselves, not think about you. They don't want to move into somebody else's house. They want to move into their house. Unless you're, you know, Jimmy Page and you have this bitchin' house with your beautiful wife with the photo of it and, you know, all your Grammys and your 5 Les Pauls perfectly in, you know, above your bar, and it's like, wow. Short of that, we're not that interesting. And you really want people to visualize themselves in the house, not you in their house. And there is a big payoff for really doing your house right. And the more right, the more money you'll get. But I would estimate that the difference between someone who just does a horrible job preparing their house for sale and someone who does a great job is a 10 to 15% difference in what they're going to get for the house. You heard me. And you know, I have staged teardowns, or I knew the people were going to tear down the house. However, when they opened up the door and they walked in the living room and they looked out into the backyard and it was beautifully staged with furniture, they could get a sense of the lot. They could get a sense for the space. They could say, God, I can imagine a new house here. When you walked into just a disaster, or it smells and there's old carpet and there's weird furniture, or it's empty, not good. And people can't visualize anything. Also, today, if you have an empty, vacant house, it looks like there's a distress. I mean, I did not invent staging houses. That is now the protocol. If you don't do it, you're just not even in the game for really getting top dollar. So I beg you, if you're a seller, a client of mine or not, you want to do it right, spend the extra money, figure out a way to get this done, because this is how you sell like a pro and get top dollar, and it's going to work out for you.